Hello and welcome back to Order the Pie, the podcast where music history, the stories behind the songs, and a little something in your glass all come together. And this is Christopher back with you again. Today's podcast is a little bit different. This episode is part of Podcastathon. It's a global effort where podcasters dedicate an entire episode to a charity that they believe in. The organization I'm supporting today is the Frosted Faces Foundation in Ramona, California. They focus on senior dogs, the ones that often wait the longest in shelters, the ones that people sometimes overlook, but dogs who still have years of love to give, and dogs who simply need somebody willing to show up. I'll include a link to the Frosted Faces Foundation in the episode notes if you'd like to learn more about them. And that idea leads directly to today's theme, shelter. Not just buildings, not just rescue facilities, but the instinct to step in when somebody else needs protection. Music has been telling this story for decades. Songs about refuge, songs about loyalty, and songs about people who step in when somebody else is in trouble. And our first song is Someone Saved My Life Tonight by Elton John. Released in 1975, the single climbed to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. It appears on the album Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200.
When I think of those East End lights, muggy nights, the curtains drawn in the little room down.
But the story behind the song begins several years earlier. Before the arenas, before the costumes, before Elton John became Elton John.
I don't hear you anymore.
In the late 1960s, Elton was engaged to a woman named Linda Woodrow. He knew that the relationship was not right, but he didn't know how to get out of it. And at the time, Elton was still working as a staff songwriter, writing songs for other artists, and wondering if his own career would ever take off.
Rolling round the basement floor.
His songwriting partner, Bernie Taupin, could see what was happening. Taupin later said that Elton seemed trapped, like he was drifting into a life that did not belong to him. Elton had reached a breaking point, at one point even attempted to take his own life. Taupin stepped in, he told Elton something simple: walk away, end the engagement, start over.
You nearly had me roped and tied.
And Elton did. Years later, Elton described the moment very plainly. He said, "Bernie saved me from that future that would have destroyed me."
Someone saved my life tonight, Sugar Bear.
You see, Taupin had a nickname for Elton, and it was Sugar Bear, which is why that lyric lands the way it does.
Hypnotized, sweet freedom, whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly.
Not a metaphor, not a character. Sometimes shelter is a place, and sometimes shelter is a friend, covering for you while you get out of harm's way. And that's exactly what Bernie Taupin did for Elton John. But shelter doesn't always arrive through a lifelong friend. Sometimes it comes from a stranger who simply opens the door.
High away, bye-bye.
Was in another lifetime, one of toil and blood.
Our next song is Shelter from the Storm by Bob Dylan. Released in 1975 on the album Blood on the Tracks, it reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200. Today, it's widely considered one of Dylan's greatest records.
I came in from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm.
The album is also widely believed to reflect the collapse of Dylan's marriage to Sarah Dillon, a record filled with heartbreak, reflection, and emotional distance. No orchestras, no big arrangements, just acoustic guitars and emotional honesty.
If I pass this way again, you can rest assured I'll always do my best for her on that.
But the album almost sounded very different. The first recording sessions happened in New York. Dylan finished the album, pressed early copies, and his brother David Zimmerman heard the test pressing. Zimmerman felt the record sounded almost too stark, too stripped down. He encouraged Dylan to try recording some of the songs again.
Everything up to that point had been left unresolved.
So Dylan changed his mind, and at the last minute he flew to Minneapolis and re-recorded several songs with local studio musicians. Those sessions reshaped the album and in many ways helped turn Blood on the Tracks into the classic we know today.
Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm.
Shelter from the Storm became one of the album's emotional anchors. The song reads almost like a parable, a traveler wandering through hardship, someone offering a moment of refuge.
I was burned out from exhaustion, buried in the hail, poisoned in the bushes and blown out on the trail.
Dylan later described the song this way. He said, "It's a song about refuge, about someone who comes along when you're in trouble and offers you something you can't find anywhere else. It's not a dramatic rescue. It's just a quiet relief of finding a place where the storm cannot reach you."
Come in, she said, I'll give ya shelter from the storm.
I'm standing at the crossroads in life, and I don't know where to go.
And our next song is Feed Jake by the Pirates of the Mississippi, and I'm going to bet most of you have never heard this song before. It was released in 1991, and it reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country charts.
You know you got my heart, babe, but my music's got my soul.
It was written by Nashville songwriter Lanny Wilson, who was not a member of the band, but he had a real dog named Jake, and that dog helped inspire the story. Wilson once said that he wanted to write a song about the kind of loyalty that only dogs give.
Let me play it one more time. I'll tell the truth and make it rhyme.
The story centers on a man who's fallen through the cracks, a homeless veteran living under a bridge with only one companion left in the world, his dog.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
Now, I remember hearing the song live years ago. My wife and I were at a county fair sitting on the lawn while the Pirates of the Mississippi played. They were running through their set when they started playing Feed Jake. The story begins to unfold, the heartfelt lyrics, the man at the end of the rope, and then the chorus arrives.
Feed Jake, he's been a good dog, my best friend, right through it.
And we just looked at each other and we started smiling because after all that emotion, that line comes out of nowhere.
If I die before I wake, feed Jake.
Simple, unexpected, but somehow it hits even harder because of it. The narrator is not worried about himself, he's worried about the one thing he might leave behind.
Some say he's worthless, just let him be. I, for one, would have to disagree. And so would their mamas.
All right, so that clip played a little bit long, and I'm sure I'm going to get a copyright ding for it, but I had to play it because I wanted you to see that these guys don't take themselves too seriously. They are just having a good time. Remind me a little bit of like Dr. Hook and Cover the Rolling Stone, that type of thing. But going back to the song, the dog never leaves him through everything. And that line captures something every dog owner understands. Animals trust us completely.
If I die before I wake, feed Jake. He's been a good dog, my best friend, right through it all.
And the quiet promise we make back is just as simple. Take care of them, no matter what.
Feed Jake. If I die before I wake, feed Jake.
Oh man, I got to keep my composure on this one. Our next song is Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon & Garfunkel. Released in 1970, the song spent 6 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
When you're weary, feeling small.
It also won a Grammy for Record of the Year and would ultimately win 5 Grammys altogether. Paul Simon wrote the song, but the voice you hear on the record is Art Garfunkel. Simon wrote it with Garfunkel's voice in mind. He later said, "I thought it was one of the best songs I had ever written, and Artie was just the right voice for it."
I'm on your side. Oh, when times get right.
The inspiration came from gospel music, specifically a line recorded by the Swan Silvertones, "I will be your bridge over deep water." Simon built the entire song around that premise, someone standing beside you when everything falls apart.
And friends just can't be found like a...
The famous piano introduction was played by session musician Larry Kencher. The piano you hear is a heavily echoed Steinway recorded at Columbia Studio B. Producer Ray Haley later said that when the take ended, the control room went silent.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
Everyone knew that something extraordinary had been recorded, because at its heart, the song makes one simple promise. When the water gets rough, someone will carry you across.
I will lay me down.
And sometimes that promise shows up in unexpected places, including the quiet work being done every day at animal shelters.
See how they say
Okay, made it through. Let's move on to the next song. You've Got a Friend by Carole King.
When you're down and troubled.
The song appears on Carole King's 1971 album Tapestry, which spent 15 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200. Tapestry became one of the defining albums of the singer's songwriting era.
And nothing is going right.
King wrote the song during her creative period shared with her friend James Taylor. Both artists were part of the Laurel Canyon music scene in Los Angeles, where musicians were constantly writing, collaborating, and influencing each other.
Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there.
One day, King heard a line in James Taylor's song Fire and Rain. Taylor sings, "I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend." Well, that line stayed with her. King later said that the idea behind You've Got a Friend was almost like a response, a musical answer. Yes, you do. You've got a friend.
Just call out my name, and you know wherever I am.
James Taylor loved the song immediately and asked if he could record it himself. His version appeared on his album Mudslide Slim and the Blue Horizon, released the same year. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and fittingly, Carole King also sang backing vocals on the record, joined with another Laurel Canyon voice, Joni Mitchell.
You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am.
And at the 1972 Grammy Awards, something unusual happened. Carole King won Song of the Year for writing You've Got a Friend, and James Taylor won Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for singing it. Same song, same year, two friends. The two recordings almost feel like two sides of the same conversation.
You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am.
Friends answering each other through music, and the message is beautifully simple. When the sky grows dark, and when the road ahead feels uncertain, just call my name. And you know wherever I am, I'll come running.
You've got a friend. Oh yeah, now you've got a friend.
I bless the day I found you.
Our next song is Let It Be Me by the Everly Brothers. Released in 1960, the song reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I wanna stay around you.
The song actually began life in France as a 1955 song called Je t'appartiens, which roughly translates to I Belong to You. A few years later, American lyricist Curtis Mann and Dolores Dixon wrote the new English lyrics. Their version became Let It Be Me.
Let it be me.
By the time Don and Phil Everly recorded it, they had already built one of the most distinctive sounds in popular music, two voices singing almost as one. Unlike many of their earlier rock hits, Let It Be Me was recorded with a full orchestral arrangement, giving the song a sweeping, almost cinematic feel.
Each time we meet, love, I find complete love.
On this recording, Don carries most of the lead vocal, while Phil slips in with a gentle harmony that supports the melody. And instead of teenage heartbreak or youthful rebellion, this song is built around a simple promise. If somebody needs love, if somebody needs stability, if somebody needs a place to land, let it be me.
So never leave me lonely. Say that you love me only.
The song has since been recorded by dozens of artists, from Willie Nelson to Glenn Campbell, Elvis Presley to Bob Dylan. But Elvis Presley in particular admired the Everly Brothers deeply. At one point he even said, I learned harmony from the Everly Brothers.
Let it be me.
And listening to it today, it's hard not to hear that line a little differently. Narrator simply saying, choose me to someone that they love, not unlike what an animal might say if they had the chance.
Let it be me.
Our final song is Heroes by David Bowie, released in 1977 during Bowie's Berlin period. It's a time when Bowie had moved to West Berlin to escape the chaos of Los Angeles. He was recovering from heavy drug use and starting over creatively. While living there, he began making a series of experimental albums that would later become known as his Berlin trilogy. The song initially reached number 24 on the UK singles charts, but over time it became one of Bowie's most beloved songs. Bowie recorded the song at Hansa Studios, just a short distance from the Berlin Wall. One day, Bowie looked out the studio window and saw a couple kissing beside the wall. For years, he said the couple was producer Studio Visconti and singer Antonio Mas. Bowie later admitted the story was not entirely true. He said he invented it to protect the identity of the real couple he saw. But the image remained, two people standing together, even in the shadow of something enormous, even in the face of danger.
'Cause we're lovers, and that is a fact.
And the recording of the song is just as unusual as the story behind it. Visconti and the engineer Colin Thurston set up 3 microphones across the studio. Each microphone was fitted with a noise gate. That meant the microphone would only activate when Bowie sang loud enough to trigger it. So Bowie began the song standing close to the first microphone, singing quietly. As the song builds, he moves farther across the room. When he sang louder, the next microphone opened, and the studio began to fill with sound. And that's why the vocal grows larger and more dynamic as the song unfolds. And the soaring guitar line came from Robert Fripp of the band King Crimson. Fripp had not even heard the song before arriving at the studio. The producer simply told him to play something heroic. Within a few minutes, the now famous guitar part was recorded and the song was complete. Heroes would go on to become one of the most defining songs in Bowie's career. It was not a massive hit when it was first released in 1977, but over time the song took on a life of its own. It's been played at historic events, protests, concerts, and celebrations around the world. Because at its heart, the song is not really about fame and glory, it's about ordinary people choosing to stand beside someone else. Bowie once said, "We can all be heroes. You don't have to be special. You just have to care." And maybe that's what the song is really getting at. Sometimes being a hero just means helping someone feel a little safer. Before we close tonight, let's head behind the bar for this episode's cocktail. It's called the Frosty Dog. It's a small twist on the classic Salty Dog, created in honor of the organization and inspired tonight's episode, the Frosted Faces Foundation. You start with a rocks glass, run a wedge of grapefruit around the rim, then dip the rim slightly into salt. Fill the glass with ice, then add 2 ounces of vodka, 4 ounces of fresh grapefruit juice, must be fresh, 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, and 2 drops of saline solution. Give the drink a quick stir and bring everything together. The grapefruit brings brightness, the vodka keeps the drink clean and simple, and the touch of simple syrup softens the bitterness. And the salt, both on the rim and in the saline, sharpens the flavors. A small reminder that sometimes the road to finding a safe place includes a few tears along the way. Simple, bright, and quietly fitting for tonight's theme. As we wrap up tonight, I want to thank the organization who inspired this episode, the Frosted Faces Foundation. If you'd like to know more about the work they're doing, I'll include a link to their website in the episode notes. You can also read about their rescue work, the Frosted Fling foster program that they're doing right now, and many other ways to help senior dogs find loving homes. And wherever you live, chances are there's an animal shelter nearby doing the same kind of work every day, because sometimes the most powerful thing someone can give another living being is shelter. Until next time, here's the loud riffs, quiet sips, and the stories in between.